Hey everyone, welcome to Baking with Jen. Sorry about our late start today. We had some technical difficulties, but those are all ironed out now. So today we are making granola, and we're trying some turnovers again. We had some cinnamon sugar turnovers. Let's see. I'm using this book right here, Sheet Pan Slippers. This is This is a book I've had for a long time, and it has some really good recipes in it. And today thought I would try the cinnamon brown sugar breakfast cups. So we will start on granola, and then we'll work on these a little bit and see what we do. And this is the picture they have in the book. So that looks good at me. Alright. Some type of bookmark right here. Where's the bookmark? There we go. Alright, so we have that all set up. Let's start on our granola. 10 minutes. I got to bring on a bowl. And then bring up the recipe if you want. But let's see. So the basic granola recipe says heat to 300 degrees. So with the oven heating to 300, and let's start weighing out some ingredients. What? Okay, let's see. Says 3 cups of old-fashioned oats. I'm using quick oats. They absorb liquid a little bit faster and all that stuff. So this is half a cup is 40 grams. So 1 cup is 80. So 3 cups is 240. Let's see. 75, 200, 230, 6, 41, 241, close enough. So 240. And then we're gonna switch over, and I have a 1 cup liquid measuring cup. So we're going to we're gonna go ahead and pour our honey. Let's see if this will actually pour today, or if we're gonna have to heat it up first. But do half a cup of honey and then half a cup of oil. I'm doing the honey first. So I got about half a cup of honey, and if you notice, my honey's a little granular, so it'll be okay. Well, we're gonna melt this in the microwave anyway, so it will even out here in just a minute. And I'm using coconut oil today. You can use any kind of neutral oil. I prefer not to use like canola oil, but you can use canola oil, you can use peanut oil. It says any kind of neutral oil, so I wouldn't use anything. Well, if you wanted to use something that had like a flavor you wanted to add, so if you had like like a lemon infused oil or something like that, and you could do that. But just know what you're getting into with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the microwave for like 20-30 seconds just to kind of melt it all together. It helps to get the microwave plate out of the dishwasher. All right. So I don't think a lot of the rest of this needs to actually be measured out for granola. The only thing I really wanted to measure, well, besides the liquids, were the actual oats. So we have those measured out. I'm going to use chia seeds in my granola. You don't have to. These are just kind of a addition. Let me get it open. Whew. It's strongly put together. So I'm just going to kind of do a sprinkle of chia seeds. Lovely microwave sounds. I'm just going to let that sit. It's been in there for almost a minute, so we're going to let that sit and see if it'll kind of melt on its own some. Just a few more chia seeds. So basically, the basic recipe is oats, sweetener like honey or maple syrup, um, seasonings, and then any kind of add-ins you want, and oil, like a basic oil. Like I said, today I am using coconut oil as my kind of neutral oil, and then my honey needed melted because it's been sitting for a while. So I am using a peanut butter with cocoa powder. So this is going to be kind of my seasoning. It's just going to kind of be a peanut butter, chocolatey kind of granola. Probably be really good to add some chocolate chips after you bake it, like when it cools down. That might be really good. But I'm probably not going to do that because I don't want a lot of chocolate. So I think the amount of cocoa powder there's going to be good. So this is like half a teaspoon of salt. So just a little bit of salt to kind of bring out the flavors of everything. And I do want to add a little bit of vanilla to our liquids. Right. So when I melted this, I did put it on a plate, which turns out to be really good. Overflowing, caught it all, and then stirring it, it's gonna overflow some more, and so catching it, and then we'll just pour it off of the cup and the plate. Alright, this is just the honey oil mix. I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit. Like I said, some of it is pouring out of there, which that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and add the vanilla to this, just to add it. It's a science experiment. The little bubbles of oil from the honey stems, and this just looks really cool. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can see it. You see the bubbles of liquid with the honey and the oil. It all looks really cool. So I'll end up pouring all of this in here in just a minute. Let's see, what are the rest of our add-ins? I'm gonna throw some sunflower seeds Here, let's see how many seeds and nuts and everything we put in here. Sunflower seeds. I'm also gonna do some shelled pistachios. This is gonna be a very nutty granola. Sweet and nutty. Last but not least, I have alright, so we got a good amount of stuff in here. I'm just going to hand toss this real quick just to kind of check the distribution of everything. Just going to make sure that it kind of looks like a good combo. Well, it looks like a good amount of different things. So we'll go ahead and pour the liquids over this. Let me just mix all of it together. You'd probably get more of the mixture out if you actually had a rubber spatula versus the metal spoon like I'm using. Some seasonings you could use, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg. If you like a little bit of spice, you could add a little bit of chili powder, but I'm not going to do any of that because I have that peanut butter and chocolate in here. Some people like a little bit of cinnamon and chocolate together, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to not. This is looking all good. Maybe I have a little too much liquid in here. We'll see. Because it still just looks very damp. Oh well, that's okay. It'll dry out in the oven. It'll be in the oven for a little while drying, so it will be okay. So we have, voila, our granola mixture. Just need a sheet pan. Move my drinks out of the way so we can actually put the heat pan. Fresh sheet pan and I'll get silicone mat because I like the reusability of them. I honestly probably need both of these. That's what we're doing today. I'm just going to toss them and we'll wrap them all up later. You can use parchment paper, you can use aluminum foil if you really want. Just you don't actually have to put anything down if you don't want to. It just helps with cleanup later and with stirring. So, but yep, we'll just put all of this onto the pan and spread it out, and then it'll just dry out in the oven, and we'll go through and stir it every so often, and then once it's dried to the texture that you like, then it's time to take it out. I know my mom likes a more chewy granola, while I prefer a more crunchy granola, so it's all preference. And then it's also, if you get tired of baking it and you just want it to be done, then you can just take it out. But let's see how long we get to go today. Okay. So that's all one big mushy pie. And just spread it all out. You want to get it kind of as thinned out as you can. You don't want it to be like a big clump like this, because then it just sticks together and makes big clumps, and I don't want big clumps. If you want big clumps, leave it in a big clump. you'll have big lumps. It also kind of depends on how much you stir it during cooking, because if you want it to kind of stick together, then leave it alone for longer periods of time, and then it'll kind of bake as a sheet, and then you can kind of break it into bigger clumps. But if you're wanting like something you can use as a cereal or as a yogurt topper or something like that that has like a crunch to it, then make sure you're stirring it and get everything all nice and loose so that you can do that. Anyway, the oven's preheated, so we're gonna put this into the oven and let it go from there. Okay, so now we're on to the cinnamon brown sugar breakfast tarts. Okay. Okay. So this does seem to use kind of like a pie dough. I'm gonna crumble the ingredients into the flour, and then it does say rest at least 1 hour. We'll see what happens. Let's, hmm. All right. Now we're gonna back up and punt because I don't want to wait for that to rest. So instead, I have a sugar cookie dough that we haven't made into cookies yet. So we will make sugar cookies instead of the cinnamon tarts. So, okay, well, let's go get the sugar cookie dough. I have this cookie dough out in the other fridge. Get some light. So we have our sugar cookie dough out here, and this is kind of this is our spare fridge for all the things that we don't want in the house, all the things that usually it's a lot of my baking stuff. Yeah. So I made this sugar cookie dough like a week or two ago. I don't remember. Y'all remember? Anyway, I made this dough a while ago, and we still haven't done anything with it. I was going to make this into Valentine's Day cookies, but our whole family got sick, and so I backed up, I back up and punted, and we just did the truffles instead. So um, we're just gonna make up some sugar cookies because why not? Now the oven isn't currently set to a good sugar cookie dough, so what I'm gonna do to make up for that is we're gonna make some big cookies because big cookies need to cook at lower temperatures for longer. So I want to make some pretty big cookies, and we'll just bake them lower for longer since we're doing the granola in the oven. I think the sugar cookies usually go at 350, so I plan on making these a little bit thicker and just bigger. They're just going to be thicker and bigger, and I think that'll make these cook up a little bit slower so that it's not an issue. So I'll just go slower. All right. So I have my water bottle on the counter, and it is, there's condensation on the counter. So we're gonna get a towel and wipe it off. And so this does need a little bit of flour, just kind of as a barrier. You can also use powdered sugar, but since I'm putting this on the counter, I don't want to have to clean up the powdered sugar later. It's a lot easier to clean up flour than powdered sugar, so we're gonna use flour today. Now the flour doesn't have as nice of a flavor when you're doing the cookies as the powdered sugar would, but like I said, flour is just a little bit easier to clean up than powdered sugar, and I don't want to clean up powdered sugar, so I'm not going to. Alright, so this, I think the dough has technically been resting for too long because it was only supposed to rest for like a day or two. It doesn't say that you can rest it for longer, but let's see how it turns out. I had pulled out some heart shape cookie cutters before when I was going to be making these like last week before, something like that. One was Valentine's Day. I was gonna make them the Thursday before Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day was on a Wednesday. So whenever that day was when I was gonna do this, that didn't quite happen appropriately. So we're just gonna roll them out now. And normally you wouldn't want these as big as I'm gonna make them. Like I said, we're just gonna make these thicker and bigger because because they're delicious that way. Yes, but because they're gonna be cooking in a lower oven temperature, I'm gonna cook them, make them bigger so that they don't burn or they don't like melt and be all weird. Oh, yeah. We'll use this one for now. It's okay. This is why you have multiple dough scrapers, because if you can't find one, then you always have a backup. Alright, this side looks fairly floury. Oh, let's should get the flour underneath it. And even if you're using powdered sugar, you still want to use like a thin layer because you don't want to get the outside of the dough all weird. Now, if you're going to coat them in powdered sugar before you bake them, that's fine, but not for rolling out. Just like toss them in the dough first, or in the sugar first. All right, so that's, let's say about a 1/4 inch thick. I'm not good at measuring by sight. I pretend I am, and then we go with it. So I'm gonna say that's a good thickness. And then let's get, you know what, we'll just get some circle cutters. And I think that might still be a little smaller than I'd like, but it's okay. We'll roll with it. It'll be fine. You know what? It might be helpful to get a baking sheet to put under the silicone. I'm just gonna bake it on a silicone mat. That's helpful. So these are fairly thick, and then hopefully some like frosting on here will be nice. So we'll just cut out some thick cookie rounds. My favorite cookies in the store are the thick, like cakey sugar cookies with the frosting on them. I usually get those instead of a birthday cake because they're better than cake. If you like cake, you might disagree. Yes. So let's see what we can put here. Yeah, we just got a recommendation for cinnamon on them. So let's see about doing some with like a cinnamon sugar, and I do have some other like pretty sugars here, like we used for the king cake. All right, so we got 6 cookies out of that, and we're just gonna roll all this back together and get it rolled out so we can cut out some more cookies. Now, as this warms up, it's less crackly and it's a lot smoother rolling out. But we also don't want to work this dough too much because it does get tough the more you work it. So, minimal rolling. It's kind of like biscuits and cookies. If you need to rest them, then it's usually best not to like fold and try to roll them out too much because it does make the final product a bit more tough, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes tough pastries. Well, unless it's supposed to be like crunchy sourdough bread. Everybody loves crunchy bread when it's supposed to be. But if you're trying to bite into a tender cookie, you don't want it to be sourdough bread. Now I am eyeballing how thick these are, and I'm trying to get them. So far, they look fairly similar, at least. They're not too terrible. The only thing, if you aren't comfortable eyeballing measurements like this, then there are different guides you can get, like rolling pin guides, or you can use chopsticks, or like food skewers, like bamboo food skewers. Those are all options if you're either not comfortable eyeballing or you don't have confidence in your eyeballing skills. All right, and then we just have this last little bit. I'm just going to put it into a ball, and then it'll be a little ball cookie. Um, if I had rolled these out to the thickness that they should have been, I probably could have gotten at least twice as many of these. But right now, it's 10 of the regular sugar cookies, and then a little cookie here. But like I said, I did roll them out thick specifically so that they wouldn't um, bake as harsh, bake as quick. I don't know. Choose a adjective. Is that the correct term there? All right, so I'm gonna make this as a cinnamon sugar. So these are gonna kind of be as like a snickerdoodle. And I'm just gonna use a measuring cup with a little bit of sugar in it. And then we're gonna pour some cinnamon, mix it up, and then put it on some of the cookies. I think I'm gonna cinnamon sugar like half of them, and then the other half I'll do is either naked or colored sugar, because I do like a snickerdoodle. But ooh, here, we'll take the ball one, roll it in the cinnamon sugar, and this will be closer to like a traditional snickerdoodle, because this is kind of how you do snickerdoodles. It's kind of basically a sugar cookie mix. Dough, that's the correct word. It's like a sugar cookie dough that you roll it, and then you lay it, and they usually like bake and flatten out when they bake. So we'll see what that does. So we're definitely gonna cinnamon sugar on You know what? We'll do 6 of these with cinnamon sugar, and then the other 4 we'll just we'll do a different color. We'll do different colored decorative sugars. That'll be fun. So, and then sugar cookie dough is a high butter. It has a lot of butter in it. So as these melt, both the sugar and the butter in the dough, um, it should like absorb some of the sugar and the cinnamon and kind of it'll be on the outside, but it'll be like embedded. So that will be good. Embedded cinnamon sugar. Um, Now I am gonna go rinse my hands because I am doing this by hand. And while I love the cinnamon sugar flavor, I don't want it to get into the ones that we're just gonna do sugar. We have the cinnamon sugar ones, and then we recently organized this cabinet, and I don't know where anything is. Um, okay, where? I think these are all seasonings. Yeah, those are all seasonings. Here's a couple of the pretty sugars. Did I have the orange one? Um, okay, here's some of there. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Found it. We have orange. Sprinkle that on one. Now, like I said, with the cinnamon sugar, I don't want them to like go all over the place. So I'm just kind of putting it in the middle and spreading it out with my finger. If you don't mind getting the sugar all around it, then you can shake it from like a higher level and just like sprinkle it all over everything. But I'm trying to do individual ones. I'm just gonna put it in the middle and spread it out just to kind of control where it goes. Like some, I don't know if y'all can see, but some of them are bouncing off anyway, so it's not like you can stop it from happening. It's just as controlled as you can, kind of thing. I wonder. I think I had made so I made a purple icing sugar kind of for Mardi Gras. I basically took some of this red icing sugar and put some blue food coloring in it in an attempt to get purple. And it turned out pretty purple on the pancake. So we'll do the last one with that purple that I made because we have the orange, green, and red. Same colors. So this is that purple I made. It's not like a true purple, but let's see what it does. And also, since we are using we're using a lower oven temperature, we're using thicker cookies. I'm not sure how long these are going to take. Usually sugar cookies take 10 to 12 minutes. I'm thinking that these are going to take closer to 20 minutes because of everything that's going on with the thickness, the oven temperature, the all of it. So here's what we're going to do real quick. We're going to take the granola out of the oven. We're going to stir it and then we're going to put everything back in and watch the oven for like 20 minutes while it does its thing. This has been in here for a little bit, so it's getting all roasty, toasty. It smells good. It smells, um, it's starting to smell toasty. I usually like to use wood. We're trying to get away from that harbor bacteria and all of that deliciously fun stuff. Right now this does smell like just like a baked oatmeal, which that's kind of where it's starting. It's starting as a baked oatmeal. And I don't know if you can see by the way that I'm like moving this around, it's very kind of mushy textured. Um, it's not drying out yet. There's oil, there's honey, there's a little bit of vanilla. Um, it's absorbing into the oats, and it's going to just take a little while before it is like dried in granola-y. But so that's all spread out. All right. So right now we're going to put both these and the sugar cookies back in the oven, and I'm going to check on them in about 15 minutes. So take a minute, let's get zen, go grab a glass of water if you need one, or whatever we need to do. I'm going to go wash the dishes while these bake, and I'm going to put on the baking cam so that y'all can watch them bake. Let's see. You know what? Let me rearrange them so I can have the cookies on one side and the two on the other, and you guys can actually see. So we'll just rotate this, and then we'll put. Actually, I don't think we're going to fit it. I think those pans are too wet. Yep, the pans are too wet. So we're just gonna have the granola on the bottom, and you won't be able to see it. You'll be able to see what these do. So, all right, let's get a good cookie cam. I need to make like a little embed overlay kind of thing that says like baking cam or cookie cam or something like that. So that you can, like, if you just look at the video real quick, you can tell what's going on. We're just gonna watch these cookies. Nope. Let's turn this around. Okay. Alright. So we finished cleaning our area. My skincare again. As you all can see, the cookies are still baking. They're puffing up nicely. They're getting spread out and kind of puffed up. Just changing the way that that's viewing. But the only thing here is that they are kind of spreading, so they're kind of running into each other. Hopefully they will still be these and they won't be all one big cookie at the end of this. But we'll see how that turns out. I am going to wait until the sugar cookies finish baking before I take out the to stir again, just because I don't want to like mess up the sugar cookies. So we're just gonna keep going with this. Sugar cookies do have a lot of butter in them, so they do spread a lot. They have a lot of butter and sugar, and that makes them spread. So did I expect this to happen? Kind of. I was hoping it wouldn't, but there's only so much you can do. So it's nicely so far. So far, so good. Like I said, we just got to give them a little bit of extra time to make sure that they cook all the way through, because they are at a lower temperature. So that's why we did them thicker and bigger around, so that they wouldn't dry out before they were fully cooked with lower temperature. But that's what we're trying to do with the granolas. We're trying to dry it out. So it's kind of working with what you have. Yeah, overall, if you want to make cookies bigger, then it's better to cook them at a lower temperature so that they don't dry out and get all weird. That's what happens with cookies on too low of a temperature. If you cook them too high, then the outside gets all crusty and crunchy, and then you have an underbaked middle. So we're trying to avoid having an underbaked middle or having like the whole thing dry out, which is something that can happen if you if we put thin cookies in there and have them cook at 300, then it's very possible that they could dry out and get really crumbly instead of like nice and toasty. This is a little bit of an experiment to see if the thicker cookies cook up I want them to. So we'll just have to see. So overall, that will have to, it's a little bit of an experiment. But yeah, so right now we are live streaming. It was going to be toast, but those still have to sit for a while, and I just don't feel like messing with that today, because that's make up the dough, let it rest in the fridge for an hour, and then make everything up. We'll see about it today. And I already had the sugar cookie dough resting in the fridge from like a week ago, so there is that. Right now I do bake every Tuesday and Thursday from 12:30 to 2:30. It kind of depends on when everything gets done. I am about to start another job. So here, starting in March, we're going to go down to baking 1 day a week. And I'll have to see what my work schedules look like to see what is going on with baking. But right now we have February planned out for the rest of the month. Lots going on. I do know next Tuesday we're doing tortillas, corn tortillas and flour tortillas. I don't have a tortilla press, so we're going to see what we can do with the word that's coming to mind was ladle. Right, ladles are for soup, not for rolling things out. We'll see what we can do with the rolling pin and see if we can get these some nice thin tortillas. We have a really cool tortilla pan. And I am thinking of making empanadas. So we'll have to see if we can gather the ingredients and get all of that started, and then empanadas next Thursday. I just don't remember that I was scheduled for this Thursday. Well, if you check my live streams, then you should be able to see it there. I already scheduled it. Scheduled the live stream out. But plans do change. Like today, I was gonna make the signature cards. We do have to be flexible with these things and see what happens and what we're gonna end up doing. Or looking at some, I didn't expect them to spread as much as they are. I was really hoping that they would spread a little bit, but not this much. This is gonna be really cool. Unless we're gonna have some like squarish, rectangular cookies, it'll be interesting. So looking at the cookies, I can't tell with the cinnamon sugar cookies if those are but by looking at the colored sugar on them, these, looking at on the edges, they still look very close to me. When the sugar cookies are done, they won't look close to me like that. They'll be more matte looking. I can see the little ball ones that I did over here that are like in the cinnamon sugar, and that actually looks like it's about done. I want to see if I can pull out that one cookie because it's looking about done. And that would be something to know for future, is that we'll make something like snickerdoodles. We'll have to do them in a smaller ball, or we're gonna do big, like we'll have to just do them a little bit bigger. But we can do them as a ball and they'll spread out as a circle. You see that cinnamon cookie? Little tiny one. Oh, my finger's on camera. Right here. The little one off to the side. But it's looking kind of matte, so that means that it's fairly baked. So I'm going to see if I can just pull that one cookie out instead of having the whole thing out, because I don't want that one to be all weird. Lots of steam is just escaping. Look at it, just take this one little cookie. See, sugar cookies really should set for a few minutes before you take them out. I'm actually afraid that this is even going to be... I'll just set this like this for a minute and see if it'll so it stays up. See if it'll cool on there. But those are looking really good. They're still, like the edge is kind of dry, but the granola is smelling amazing. You know, all I have is open. Let's go ahead and stir the granola. It's open anyway. I had to open it anyway. So take the granola out and we'll stir it real quick. So that it doesn't get too crunchy. Let's hammer down the granola. This is still fairly sticky. It's just not as mushy as it was. Like before, it felt like stirring thick oatmeal. This is more like stirring damp oats. Before it was like stirring dry oatmeal, now it's more like stirring damp. So the oven is exactly what it should be doing. What the cookies are doing. So I don't want them to overbake. So I don't think that they're baked enough yet. I don't even know if that one little sugar cookie baked, like if it's overbaked or underbaked or what. So we're gonna give that a few minutes to cool, and then we'll check on the structure of that cookie. That one is smaller, so it's going to be cooking a little bit faster. Which is what we want. Oh yeah, no, that wreath of peppers is years and years old. It's decoration at this point. I don't think that we'll ever eat those peppers or use them for food. Yeah, but they've been a decoration for a long time. Look over here. There's some red. They all used to be like that, and since then they've dried to this darker blackish brown. We recently had to dust all of them off because just a lot. Yeah, we're never going to eat those peppers. Those are decorating. They probably would have survived a little bit better if they'd been clear coated or something. But they're dried peppers. I was going to say they're raw peppers. They're not raw. But yeah, no, that's been the decoration in my mother-in-law's stuff for really long. Like chili peppers. Now, and food. Like chili peppers. So yeah, those are baked right. They just some time, especially as cookies. But who loves sweet cookies? I am going to be trying out some different cookie recipes. They're looking at I'm going to start with the local business community is actually really good. I can't hear what's going on with the sound. I'll put it up there. Turn the microphone on the bucket. Yeah. Anyway, the local business, like business, is very good. And there's some opportunities that look available. So, or like through the cookie market, the local cookie market. really a local cookie market. There's somebody local who does tortillas, and somebody local who does cake and bread and a couple other things, but I haven't seen it. So the idea is to come up with your own cookie recipes. So cookie recipes, and then any local ones. I don't think like skip cookies across the country or anything like that, but then definitely I haven't started that yet. There's something called like a cottage license that you can cook out of your own home. At least my town has it. I don't know if it's across the country, but okay. Now I want to see about starting a what kind of creative ideas I can get. So, some of our future streams should be good, but I also want to still do some baked goods from other places. There's one lady she does a lot of food content, like mostly on TikTok. But I don't watch TikTok. Anything I watch on YouTube. And they'll make some really good looking breads with purple potatoes. They're not purple potatoes. They're not potatoes. What? I forget what they're called. And a lot of kind of stuff. And I really want to try my hand at making those. So we'll have to see how they go. Also, my mother requested that I make meringue. I want to make some meringue cookies. And I bought this stuff probably a year and a half ago for me to make boba. I want to try my hand at making boba. So this isn't exactly baking, but so I'm trying to make some boba at some point. That's not today. And see what because I did schedule I need to change these descriptions I have in my profiles because I didn't know what I was going to write, and so I'm like, let me just write something. And I wrote something, and it's very creative. Creative is what we're going for. So Thursday, this Thursday we're making crumble. And by crumble treats, I mean we're making popcorn balls and coffee. The coffees are layered with caramel and chocolate, and it's like a Christmas crack kind of thing. We're gonna see if we're gonna use crackers or nuts. We like nuts, but I've heard good things about crackers. That's like a Christmas crack kind of thing. So we're gonna be working on that. Yeah, I'm kind of making popcorn balls for my kids. They're not specifically for my kids. I'm probably gonna have some too. But one of the fun things about popcorn balls is you can put all kinds of fun like treats and maybe some chocolate chips or like lemons and put some gummy bears, like they're good. Hopefully or something for kids, then they can help. But you do have to form the popcorn ball while the caramel is still warm. And I don't know about my kids, but they're in warm water, their state is boiling. I don't think that forming popcorn ball would be something that could be quite up their alley, but it could be fun for for them to eat. Friday day or Friday night movie night or something like that, then guacamole is definitely good. So let's see what we can do. We don't do the coffee, then we'll do like a griddle. Maybe a peanut griddle, or probably use some of these nuts that I just put in the granola and make a griddle with those. So I was like, on Thursday we're doing caramel treats. It has been a little while since we put the cookies in, so let's kind of take a look at those and make sure we're over baking. So this camera off of. Okay, so we're looking over here. Those are actually looking pretty nice. The edges are no longer shiny, and they don't look like puffy. They look like they've kind of flattened out and dried out. So that's about what we're looking for with those cookies. Alright, so we're gonna set these to the side over here, and sugar cookies like to cool for a few minutes before you put them on like a tray or something. So we're gonna give those a few minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and stir the granola again because we don't want any particular thing to burn. We're kind of trying to toast this and dry it out. We're not trying to burn it and get it. Like, we want it dry and crunchy. We don't want it like over toasted and burnt. So toasting this kind of toasts up the nuts. It toasts up the oats, and it just kind of makes everything nice and crunchy. But right now, stirring it, one, you'd be able to hear it a little bit better if it was dry, and two, I can feel it. Like when I'm stirring it, it feels like lightly damp sand, kind of. And it doesn't like move and flow freely. It kind of rubs up against each other, and it just kind of feels a little puddingy. I don't know. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this back in the oven, and we'll put the oven can onto the granola. You're not going to see much with the granola because it's mostly drying, but let's watch granola dry. And it's hopefully better than paper drying. Now, anyway, we can watch the sugar cookies come up with the pan into the cooling area. Gotta extend the power cord. There we go. There's a little bit of a noise, but it'll be fine. These look really good. These are really fast as they kind of all smush together. But the centers feel fairly, like they have a little bit of gift to them. But this cooks up nicely. You can see on the bottom it has this little feel kind of sticky, but more like a sugar kind of way than like a way. It's like a crust on top, and then out for the part, you can definitely see that the inside of the cookie is cooked. So it's cooked up through. Nice soft texture, but it's buttery. Also, that's light cinnamon sugar. You get a little bit of a crust. Add a little bit of a crunch to the crust. It's doing really good. Let's get these cookies and come over to the hopefully they'll separate enough. Don't want to have that. So I'm hoping as I go up onto the edge of these cookies that they'll just kind of break apart and that I won't have to cut them apart. And I do want to give them a little bit of room between each other on the cooling rack. Just that they have space for like the edges to finish kind of pressing up. And they do look a little underdone on these edges and on the bottom here. I think that is kind of sweet. It's not fairly done, but like see this edge here, this does look kind of like a wet dough. So we'll have to see if it dries out and actually gets like a good crust on it, or maybe because they all put together that it's not baked right. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait until these cool and see. Now, obviously, because now, I'm not saying 300 degrees isn't very hot, but when you have, see, this has like some golden brown on the edge here, so that makes me think it's cooked. There's just this where the cookies were touching, and you're not quite sure if those. We're just gonna have to see how these dry and cool. But I also want more in the cookies so that they have this cool, and the edges can kind of dry out and get that little bit of crispiness to them. Like I said, Christmas to anybody else. These are like Christmas. Well, these are not Christmas cookies. Closest they are Valentine's Day. They're supposed to be cookies, but they didn't. Cookies are huge, so they're not quite fitting on there the way they should. Y'all see that? That's about as close as I can get. But I got a little bit thicker. They're not hot, so we'll just have to see how well they cook. There. These are gone. Just have the granola going. So it's going to be one of those things we're going to have to judge spinning out and cooking versus how long it's going to take baking, because even though it's going to take a while to bake, it's more of a drying out process than a baking kind of process. So for a few more minutes and see what's going on. I do have, I don't know if you'll remember the jar. That is the jar that I plan on using for storing my granola. It's here you want it. You take it out of the oven, leave it out, let it cool and it cooks. And then once it's cooled all the way through, crumple it up, beautiful container. It is better than airtight container because sometimes sugars and can pull moisture out of the air. And if you live in a damp environment, then some of that moisture in the air needs to your baked goods or into your granola. And so, depending on where you live, make sure that your is more airtight. I live in a dry environment. It has been raining the last couple of weeks, so it's a little bit more moist. But I'm still gonna put it in a fairly airtight container. Just the more airtight, the longer it will last. So we're gonna leave it here. I will definitely change the thumbnail to the finished product, so y'all can see the finished granola. But this is just drying, and I'm gonna camera going. I'm gonna leave the live stream up and the camera going, but y'all sit here and talk about nothing. So gonna join me to find out when we're changing our live streams to. Right now I'm streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays, or at least February, and 12:30 to 2:30 Pacific time. Right now it's about 2 here, just a little after 2. Like and subscribe, and hopefully you can receive notifications for our upcoming streams. Yep, I'll definitely let you know what we're changing to. But so right now I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and we're gonna change this over to the baking cam, so y'all can watch the granola finished baking. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on Thursday.